Development with your attention this Saturday morning is coming out of KZN, where ANC delegates in eThekwini are expected to elect the region's new leaders today in a tightly contested race between former eThekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede and the Speaker, Thabani Nyawose. At least 400 delegates will attend that conference, which will set the tone for the upcoming KZN provincial elective conference in July, as well as the governing party's national conference come December. Our reporter Nkosikhona Duma is watching this story for us. He joins us now from eThekwini. And Nkosikhona, there were some kind of murmurs of disputes in the lead up to the beginning of today's conference. To what extent do you reckon those issues have been ironed out as we look forward to this hotly contested conference?
Well, and according to the contenders in this race, Thabani Nyawose, the ANC at a national level, that is the parties, the governing parties, a national executive committee, managed to resolve disputes emanating from both factions that are contesting this elective conference. And that, according to Nyawose, assisted the party in reaching this final stage where it is able to hold an elective conference in eThekwini. You'll recall that the term of office for Zandile Gumede and the rest of the leadership team of eThekwini actually expired in December 2018, and the governing party in eThekwini has been under the stewardship of a task team since 2019. There have been several delays in the governing party. One of them was the national and provincial government elections in 2019, when the party decided that going into conference could be detrimental. And then in 2020 we saw COVID-19. In 2021 there was the elections, and right now the governing party has been able to hold this particular conference, and it comes across, it is a conference that is being widely looked at. In fact, the ANC told us that they received applications from over 300 journalists who are interested in covering this. That's because the ANC in eThekwini is the biggest region of the governing party. It also is very influential into the affairs of the eThekwini municipalities, one of the country's metros, and certainly one of the biggest economic drivers of South Africa. I want to bring in the spokesperson of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, Ntombela, to discuss the process of this election of this elective conference. Mr. Ntombela, the ANC is saying that this conference should be used to foster unity in the governing party, but how realistic is that given the depth of the divisions within the party?
Well, key amongst the issues we want to focus on is to say that the outcome of the last November elections are telling us a story that the intra-party divisions are not taking us anywhere as an organization. So how are we turning the corner moving forward, preparing for 2024? Hence the call of ensuring unity amongst the comrades of the ANC, so that you ensure that even the municipality you are leading, as we are aware that we had 42% for the first time in eThekwini. So we had to govern through a coalition of smaller parties. So it compels you that there must be a change of mindset, there must be a change of how you do things as an organization. Hence, is that introspection we are calling on the delegates to make today, so that when they come out of this conference, they come rebuilt, rejuvenated, refocused on the task of building afresh.
The question that I want to go back to is, how realistic are you as the ANC leaders in KwaZulu-Natal? And I ask this question against the backdrop of a recent failure by the ANC in the eThekwini Council to push through its preferred candidates for the position of municipal manager. Clearly, the ANC in eThekwini is not as united, because our understanding is that there were people even within the ANC who were in favor of the decision, but some actually colluded, allegedly, with the opposition.
Well, it's a separate matter, the issue of the city manager, because that you could not muster enough support within your EXCO. You still have not a mayoral committees in eThekwini. You could not get the support of the other smaller parties. As the ANC, you were clear on the view you had on the matter, but you could not get enough support on the smaller parties. But even there, when you engage with some of the smaller parties, not because they were in disagreement with you, but it's how you handled the matter. Hence, we are saying that one issue we must address with our comrades at this conference is to say, how do you adjust from being a simple majority to a majority with not a simple majority in your conduct and in your actions. There are decisions from now onward we'll have to take, but consulting prior before you take those decisions, taking on board the other stakeholders, which has not been the case in this instance. There is the issue of the gripe of the smaller parties, in particular the issue of city management, is that the ANC did not take us into confidence in engaging on this matter. Hence, they took us by surprise once they've concluded the processes. So there is a change of the mindset. We are saying we must work on to make comrades understand that at this stage, the moment we are in, the way we do things can no longer be the same as usual.
Mr. Ntombela, we've got limited time, but I just do want to ask this question. It does suggest that the ANC in eThekwini, particularly your most trusted deployees in council, are not necessarily obedient, because one of the issues that reflect out, as you're saying, is that they simply do not understand that they're now in a coalition, and some of your biggest coalition partners felt excluded from that. So how do you think you're going to convince people who are disobeying you and not necessarily functioning within a coalition?
Well, it's not about a disobedience. Hence, I'm saying it's about the managing of the contradictions and adjusting to the situations. Like the question you might ask, that was it correct for the comrades when they were constituting the panel to have the panel only composed of only ANC members? You know, with foresight, knowing that you are not a majority, what would have stopped you to compose a panel including other parties, so that from the beginning they can embrace the process? There are those issues, small issues, which we are saying we must work with the comrade, understand that you are no longer a majority, stop behaving like one, engage, embrace others. When you start processes and conclude them, you are going for budgetary processes now. Have you engaged all your other smaller parties so that you don't engage them with the end product to claim and assume that they will support you? Take them on board as you start right as you move along. They can go hand in hand with you on those issues.
Mr. Ntombela, thank you so much. Well, I understand the discussion is quite interesting, and one we would have carried on for longer if we had time, but for now it's back to you.
Nkosikhona Duma, thanks very much indeed. A very busy day ahead for you. Nkosikhona, live to us there from eThekwini in KZN. Let's bring you